Celebrating our final today. It's been a great week of snooker. The standard has been sky high, and we're set for a thrilling climax.
Let's welcome the 2005 World Champion, the magician, Shaun Murphy.
It's hard to imagine that Murphy has ever played much better than he did in that semi-final comeback against Selby. He was brilliant. And then so was his opponent yesterday against the Rocket.
2019 World Champion, everyone please welcome the ace in the pack, Judd.
And he said afterwards that it was nice to stop the rot against O'Sullivan, who'd beaten him 5 times in a row, and to do it in the fashion in which he did was very impressive. So if they can bring their semi-final form to this title match, we're in for something really special.
Welcome Jason Ferguson, Chairman of World Professional Billiards and Snooker Association.
世界斯诺克有限公司首席执行官白希蒙。
Simon Brunel, CEO of World Snooker Limited.
Six times champion of the world, the oldest ranking event winner. And I'm sure these two players will want to put on a show in memory of the great Welshman.
About a miss. Shaun Murphy 4.
They're looking to glance it extremely thin left side, because if you hit too much of the red, the cue ball goes close to the left corner. And he's getting another go at it. It's going to have to be the same again. He's got to try and just clip it. It's got to be very thin, this contact. That'll do. I suppose he'd have been quite lucky to be on the black. Really, he had no control over it. Would have summed up the evening's work, though, for his opponent had he done so.
Judge Trump 1.
But he's followed up with a proper safety shot. Put Murphy in trouble. That's the only way to play. Well, he left one from a similar sort of shot in an earlier frame. called out by the speed of the table. Has it happened again? No. Thought he was going to push more of the red and beyond, leave a shot at the right-hand red, but that's not happened. I don't know if there's any way of putting the red close to the right corner and getting on the black, because it appears from that view the black might just go past the red, although it would be tight. No, he's not playing it, he's playing the shot to nothing red instead. An error from Trump. Not that many of those have been made today. In fact, over the course of the last couple of days, I mean, 10-3 victory over RonnieO'Sullivan, and the same scoreline leading here. These pretty emphatic wins, aren't they? Or score lines anyway, at the very highest level.
Six.
Yeah, we saw the overhead, and clearly the black passes the red. Slightly tricky cueing here. It's not difficult down the cushions on this table.
14.
Got to hit it fractionally harder than he would like to from over a ball. Causes him no problem.
15. Twenty-two. 23. 30. 31. 38.
So a low angle on the black to enable him to get into the bunch of reds. And they've been spreading really
39.
nicely the whole way through this Shanghai Masters. And again there. Perfect.
46.
Well, if only he'd done this in the first frame of the night, he had all those chances. He still would have been trailing, but you never know. He could have applied a bit of pressure. Well, like any player, he's proud and wants to make this final last as long as possible. At least take it to the interval here by winning this frame.
47.
Of course, the week started not promisingly because Shaun Murphy arrived in Shanghai. His cue didn't. Took a day to be reunited with it. Played some terrific stuff, though. Beaten John Higgins and Mark Selby. Zhou Yulong as well.
15-4. 55. $62. 63.
Little check of the scores. He's 66 in front, so pink to win his first frame of the night, but it's also, of course, his only frame of the night. There was a bit of a hold your breath moment there, wasn't it? There's a few not sure that was going to be in.
70.
As he came out tonight
71.
looking confident, hopeful of a comeback, but I suppose the fact that it's taken him the fourth frame of the session to win one, well, that hope's gone really. But you do no more than pot the balls in front of you. But I would say that even the most wildly optimistic Shaun Murphy fan would not be thinking this is about to be
77.
turned around. You never know until you try, I suppose.
78.
It's been a good break, this.
$85.
Well, every reason to suppose he'll make his 6th century of the tournament.
86. $92.
And fair play to him, you know, you could have understood it if he came out in this frame and almost wanted it to be over, but he's not made like that, Shaun Murphy. He loves performing, he loves entertaining, he loves making big breaks. And he's made a century here to extend the match.
100. $101.
So 135 is as many as he can make here. Barry Hawkins' breakers
108.
held firm, 141, which I must say I didn't think was going to find its way to the high
110.
break prize, but still can be beaten. Of course, there are at least one more frame to play after this one, but I suppose he would feel a bit disappointed now, Barry, if it eventually got pipped on the post. Anyway, great break that.
Shaun Murphy.
Yeah.
110.
It may be too late, but Shaun Murphy, with his 2nd century of the final, the 5th in total of this final, he needed to win the mini session, but in fact it was Judd who won the first 3. Poised surely to become Shanghai Masters champion. 10-4, the lead over Shaun Murphy. It was 7-3 when they resumed. Trump won the first 3 of the night. Murphy the last before that mid-session break. 5 centuries altogether, 3 from Trump, 2 from Murphy. He'll do his best to try and make this closer, but surely going to be Trump's night. Even so, what a terrific initial red is on the black.
Yeah, you start looking back at all of the great comebacks, don't you, of sort of snooker history. That's what you're speaking about, the Hendry Masters victory from 8-2 down, I suppose, and not a final, but that match at the Crucible where Nigel Bond was 9-2 down against, of all people, actually, Cliff Thorburn. Won the match 10-9. They're the kind of numbers, and the fact that I can only think of a couple in all those years. There may have been 1 or 2 others like that, but it doesn't happen very often.
Well, funnily enough, Murphy himself has done it. He won a final in China against Ding from 8-2 down, 9-8.
Was that Wuxi?
16.
Yeah, it wasn't a ranking event,
Yeah.
but even so, it was Ding's hometown, so it maybe wasn't the most popular comeback.
17.
But he has done it in a final.
It's like anything else, I suppose. If you're Judd Trump, you accept that frames are going to be lost, and if he loses 2 or 3, even then it's still. And you sort of get a little bit nervous if you've got to about 10-7, perhaps. Then he'd be starting to think, hang on a minute, what's happening here? Anyway, we'll just enjoy Shaun Murphy's break building, and you know, he's a dangerous player.
25.
His scoring is very much back to his best this week.
Yes, I mean, regardless of what happens for the rest of the session, there's brilliant early signs
32.
this season for Shaun Murphy. It's the way he's cueing, the way he's playing. Well, you could see his eyes on the cue ball there. Please just get me on the black.
Yeah, I mean, he did lose control of it a little bit. I wonder if Barry Hawkins is back in the UK and watching this. I'm not quite whereabouts in the world he might be right now. But reds and blacks would have not been pleasurable to his viewing. Hoping that his break of 141 holds. Strangely, there was a 147 made by Shaun O'Sullivan involving a thin cut. It was just like the other side into the right corner, but it was really thin. Maybe not quite as thin as this. I don't think he's even going for this. No, playing safe.
Thank you. Shaun Murphy, 33.
Playing safe, but has he got it safe? I don't know if that left-hand red will cut back. It would be mighty thin. Judd's had a look at it and he seems to think it doesn't, or so he isn't looking to play it. Sometimes you can force players like Judd Trump into a pot because he hasn't really got anything else but a pot available. This is one of those cases. He certainly played it with a view to getting the cue ball out of harm's way.
Again, beady eye was on the cue ball there, but he's okay.
3.
Yeah, he'd have been unlucky not to be on something. Now, chance to win another frame.
4.
Yeah, he needs a good season. I mean, this is not a ranking event, but when they start up, you can have points coming off, particularly towards the end of the season, the Players and Tour Championship from 2 seasons ago that he won. The same issue Neil Robertson had. And as Neil found out, if you don't get those points on,
11.
your ranking plummets, and of course he dropped out the top 16.
12.
Yeah, of course, yeah. You get people saying that, you know, you're sure to get back on in the end if you're Neil Robertson back into the top flight. But there is no guarantees, really. I mean, he's in the mire a little bit, so he'd have to win something,
19.
which he can do, but a few deep runs, as he found out towards the end of last season, he was so far back that was not even going to be enough to get him to the Crucible. Of course, he missed out. Didn't even qualify. And hard to imagine. But there's no assurances in this game, not
27.
anymore. So he's almost there. Either side of the mid-session interval looks like he's going to pick a frame up.
Yeah, he set his stall out to attack, and that is, of course, his best game anyway.
35.
Well, for those of you just joining us, this is the final of the Shanghai Masters, and Shaun Murphy is extending it. He was in trouble trailing 7-3, needed a good start to the session, didn't have it. Judd Trump went 10-3 up. Murphy, though, made a century in the pre-interval frame, and he's already guaranteed to win this one. So it's going to be 10-5. It's first to 11. So Trump one away from victory.
52.
Just enough on for another century. It's been 5 in the match.
59.
I'm sure Shaun Murphy wishes he could have started the night like this, put pressure on early on, reeling frames off.
60. $67. 68.
Beautiful shot, wasn't it? Very solidly punched to middle.
74.
So he knows he could take a pink there and not
76.
give him less of a chance to make the century, which will entertain the crowds. And I think he'll give it the old nod again when if and when he gets there to all corners of the
79.
arena here in Shanghai to acknowledge the clapping he's sure to get. So putting on a show as ever. I wouldn't expect anything less of Shaun Murphy, actually.
Well, for what it's worth, we've never, in this tournament, the Shanghai Masters, had a match with 6 centuries, so it shows you how high quality it's been. It just seems that Murphy's best form is arriving a little late. Even so, this has been very impressive. So this black for 101, his 3rd century of the final. As ever, he acknowledges the crowd and they acknowledge him. So Shaun Murphy's made his 8th century of the tournament. He's 3rd of the final, he's 2nd in as many frames. But he's still trailing 10-5 to Judd Trump. Of course, did all his damage early on in this match. And indeed early on this evening when he pulled away to 10-3. But I guess if it is to turn round, it's going to be one visit stuff, which Shaun Murphy just demonstrated he can certainly pull off with the best of them.
Well, when you miss that ball to the top jaw, the red is coming back towards the cue ball. You're never sure. But he's not necessarily had a great rub of the green tonight, I don't think, Murphy, but he may have got away with that one. Got to play a different red here, Trump. Maybe a double. It's an amazing shot because he had to really watch that cue ball. He had to ensure the cue ball, A, finished on the black, and B, finished in front of that red, covering by the blacks, because, you know, and all that's enough usually to make you miss the double.
Well, time sort of stood still there, didn't it? Everyone was just watching that red to see if it was on target.
No, it was a very good shot.
So this is his chance to get it won.
8. 9. 16. 17. 24. 25.
And again, that cue ball just races on, which means he might have to play a lower value colour. I mean, he can play the blue, but what he'd be thinking about was maybe getting behind that red up the table, which means yellow again. Just a question of getting the screw right here, and he hasn't done it. Wanted to be on it in the middle.
27. 20.
He lost the cue ball a tiny bit, but not too bad. And if the black goes in, and there's always the danger, you put so much into hitting the bunch that you can miss these blacks. And he played it gently. If anything, too gently. Often Judd will go in
35.
in a big way into the bunch, and now nothing's really open, so the break probably ends. No plants appear to be there.
I'm sure he would have loved to have won with another century, but
Judd Trump,
bottom line just wants to win. 35 the lead. It's open reds up, so be looking realistically for one more opening now, Trump. They've left a chance here though for Shaun Murphy. Well, on another day, I guess Murphy covers that, but he did miss the red, so it could have finished anywhere.
He might have played his last shot, mightn't he? I think a lot will depend on this next shot, on one of the bulk colours. If he can land behind that red at the base of the cluster of, how many, 8, into the right corner, then you feel that it could be close to the end, this match, this final. I don't think he feels he's quite right on any of the bulk colours here. A bit straight on the yellow to get there. The brown, you have to punch it around the angles fairly wide. So back to the yellow. He'd have to, I think, force this to get down the left side. He wants to be on the left of the table rather than the right of the table. But to do it off the yellow, he'd have to really stun it hard. So he's back on the brown. Played a very delicate little shot positionally. If this goes, that is a very good shot indeed. Better than it might have looked. Perfectly played. And you kind of know the blue might be in the way off 2 cushions on that shot. You can see the area. You can see why he wanted to finish on that side. 3 reds all lined up.
Well, it's a very exciting time for the game and indeed for the top players. Judd Trump will be 35 next month. That was the age Ray Reardon was when he turned professional. The opportunities were not there in the 1960s, but he and the players of that time were the ones who created the opportunities for the players that came after them. And in turn, those players have gradually raised the bar in terms of standard and indeed taken the game around the world. Of course, we lost Ray this weekend, very sadly, but he's established a fine legacy in the game, and the modern players, of course, are trying to do the same. Judd Trump targeting yet another tournament win here.
On the brink now, and especially if the pink goes here, you can just see enough of the pink to pot it, so very close to the winning line. And the Shanghai Masters is not on his CV currently as a win, and he won most other things all around the world, so it would be something he would enjoy greatly. And he's on the verge. It's been something O'Sullivan has won for many years now, this tournament, whether it be a ranking event or invitational. This is a tricky one, just to get the pink right in behind its own spot. That looks spot on, doesn't it? Just a fraction to the right, but that's all. Yeah, it's been a terrific event, high prestige, and like you say, a great way to kind of start the season. And there's already been an event, but a lot of terrific snooker to come over the next few months up until the World Championships. But this is a high-profile tournament, and Judd Trump has been by some margin the better player.
Well, this is the ball, the blue, that will get him to the snooker's required stage. He's always loved coming to Shanghai. He's lost 3 finals here, including 2 deciders. But barring a snooker, he's going to get his hands on that trophy. But Murphy will get the chance to play for it.
Yes, he'll come back to the table. And of course, one snooker, not impossible, if the right opportunity came his way. I think with the red below the black there, in fact there's 2 there, but Judd will not be feeling he's over the line just yet, because if you give a chance, then the snooker is very easy on either of those reds if it becomes the last red that are below the black. Anyway, we're not at that stage yet, but the match isn't quite done and dusted. Say 99% done and dusted, given that he's still 5 frames in front also. The target is 11, not 10.5. You can land on something big.
1.
You're going to have to play the blue. can't afford to give any more points over playing anything low value.
Yeah, but now, if he pots the blue, he'll be 63 behind, 59 on. So it's effectively 2 snookers, really. But in fact, it'd be 62, wouldn't it? So it'd still be 1, but even so, it's got to go in. And it hasn't.
Shaun Murphy, 1.
Yeah, Murphy will not just shake hands, he'll allow Trump to have the victory lap, if you like. These are the moments you dream of, aren't they, as a player? The match is won. You're at the table and you know that when the break ends, if it ends, before a clearance, then the opponent is going to shake your hand. So these are the moments you dream about in snooker.
Well, he won 5 ranking titles last season. This isn't a ranking event, but it's one very highly prized because of its elite nature.
7.
And Judd Trump will have it on his CV, and it will be his 40th professional title. And he's played terrifically well. Beat Mark Williams, C. Joel Wee, of course, RonnieO'Sullivan 10-3. Ronnie, the man here in Shanghai, winning the last 4. But Trump came through that one comfortably and made the great start to the final, 7-1. And then again, the great start to the second session, winning the first 3. And after that, it just looked inevitable he would get over the line.
21.
The first of how many this season? That's the question. There's plenty of titles to contend for.
Yes, and I think he'll play in most. You know, he plays in, without naming the events that are not as big as this Shanghai Masters, he'll put all his effort into the ones he does play in, because he's won a lot of them before, so he always goes out there with a view to winning each event like it's the biggest
29.
that he can win.
31.
Yeah, he sees a trophy, he wants to win it. It's a great attitude. It's the attitude the great players have always had.
I mean, he generates a phenomenal amount of cue speed. So much cue power. The cue comes through so quickly. I think it comes around his body a little bit. And that's why he can play all these extraordinary shots. Physically, other players just can't play them because they can't get that cue moving with the same speed through the ball.
Judd Trump makes a perfect start to the new snooker season. And for the first time, he is the Shanghai Masters champion. And not just that, how well did he play? 10 centuries in this tournament. That's a record for the Shanghai Masters. Another trophy for Judd Trump's collection.